everybody. Let's have some applause. Hi. I'm so glad to see all these fabulous faces. If you don't know me, my name is Harvey Helms. I am so thankful to KMVT for allowing me to launch my new lecture series, Beauty for Thought, hashtag HH Beauty for Thought. And this series is really about women, image, and empowerment. Does that sound fabulous? Okay. So tonight, with being part one, we're going to talk to, let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about beauty for thought and kind of an awareness, a stream of awareness, okay? And my first subject, next slide, which I find really compelling, is lipstick versus gender equality. How many women in here wear lipstick? Okay. How many boys in here wear lipstick? I do too. I love it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me if you don't know about me. Like, who is this man and why should he's a man? Why is he talking about gender equality for women and lipstick? Well, I'm going to tell you. Let's go to the next slide. So you'll see here, I have a book out called Blush. And if you don't know, I was one of the very first male beauty advisors to sell behind a cosmetic counter in Charlotte, North Carolina, way before any of you were born, or before men actually work. Because men today in cosmetics, it's a normal thing, correct? You go in, you'll see people at the MAC counter, guys wearing makeup, and actually there's some cosmetic companies who've just got new male spokesmodels that I think is pretty fabulous. Well, I was one of the first pioneers. So growing up, being one of the first male beauty advisors, also gay in the South, is very interesting, right? So I know after you hear me for a minute, you're gonna know I'm gay, because nobody's ever asked me if I was gay, right? Except my mother, because she had to, because she was a Southern belle, and it was just out of courtesy. So I kind of fell out of my mother's womb like an Amex at a Prada sample sale, like, bam, he's here. Let's play with lipstick. Yes? Is that good? So Blush kind of chronicles my rise up. So I've worked for Revlon, I worked for L'Oreal, I worked for Donna Karan, I worked for Estee Lauder, I've worked for all the big corporations, love them all. I'm a total beauty junkie. I love makeup, I love skincare, I always have. And my own personal story really led me to beauty because I was plagued with acne. I don't know if you've got kids or if you ever had a problem with acne. And my mother looked at me when I was around 15, and I'll do my mother's accent for you. She's like, honey, you need to go put some makeup on, okay? Because she knew, because I was bullied, and I mean, it was hard enough being gay in the South, and then you had acne on top of it. I mean, what is that? It's like icing from the universe, like, here, let's kick this boy to the curb, not knowing that I would write a fabulous book about it. Hopefully, I just finished the screenplay for the book too, so maybe movie time, we'll see. Fast forward, and along with my series of books, I also just launched, I have a beauty startup called Harvey Helms Beauty. It's for all women everywhere. So a part of my life for 1,000,000 years has been dressing women from head to toe. Skincare, color cosmetics, clothes, shoes, for the different parts of their lifestyles. Some of my clients are in the audience. Hi, Jen. So great to see you. You look fabulous. So as part of that, I kind of have been privy to women and their lives. So as a man, I'm not going to pretend to know what it means to be a woman. I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is offer some observations because I'm with women every day. I've worked in a women's business since I was 18 years old. And now that I'm years old, it's a long time, you know? So that's kind of gives me a little bit of credibility, but I'm not, I always tell men, if you really want to know what she's going through, I need for you to walk 4 miles in her high heel shoes and then get back to her about it, okay? Agreed? Yes, so I've done that, so let's move on. Yes, we're good. So let's go to the next slide. So I'm gonna tell you a personal story that happened to me that really caused me to just stop. And I was having a conversation in the green room before I came on with women, with men saying, is gender equality really still a problem? And my friend Christine, she was like saying this, and I'm like, yes, it is. I see this all the time. Gender equality around pay, how women are treated, and also there's a climate in our country where, I don't know about you, I don't want to go back to the America of 1950s. I don't, you know? It wasn't a happy time for some of us, and also, and women really wanting to move forward and be who they wanted to be. So I happen to be, as always, I'm the one boy and girl stuff. So I happen to be the one male columnist at BettyConfidential.com. So I covered beauty, I covered fashion, I covered celebrity. So I was very fortunate that I got to cover the Sundance Film Festival. And my main assignment was to interview Jennifer Siebel Newsom and about her documentary at the time, Misrepresentation. Fabulous documentary if you haven't seen it. Her reason for wanting to get it done was her daughters. It's about how women are objectified sexually in advertising, in the media, etc. And there's a cast of fabulous women that talk about their experience. So if you haven't seen it, it's so worth it. And Jennifer's wonderful. She's the wife of Gavin Newsom, who's our lieutenant governor. They're a great couple, so fabulous. So I'm there, the lights go down, it comes up, it's incredible. Then the light comes up, and I have to say this about Jennifer, she's beautiful. I mean, she's tall, she's taller than me, and I don't like to stand beside her because I always feel like this short next to her. And she's an actress, she's blonde, and she's got it put together. The girl's got it going on. So the lights came up, and she came on stage to applause, and were there any questions? And there was only one question that night, and a man stood up and said, "How can you say these things looking the way you do with those highlights and that lip gloss?" And I'm telling you, not only did the oxygen leave the room, almost all the estrogen left the room. So we were all like this gasp, and it was just sort of over. So I left that thinking, wow, this is really a problem. So for the sake of tonight's talk, we know we have the man thing. I'm gonna take the boys, and I'm kicking them out of the room for tonight, and we're gonna talk about just girls. Agreed? Because I want to tell you something. So, yes, you can go. I like that. Awesome. We're going to talk about girls tonight. So let's go to the next slide. I started to think about when you're a baby, whether you're a girl baby, isn't she cute? That's the cutest girl baby, or a boy baby. When we come into the world and we look like this, we're sort of like this blank palette, you know? We don't know anything. And so much of what's going to happen to us and what we're taught is really going to shape our beliefs based on not our behaviors, but the behaviors of people who are either raising us or the people who are around us. So they're like little sponges, yes? And they just take it in, you know? Just imagine that innocence just on that face, you know? So I started to think about what happens with little girls. And some of the stuff I love. So let's go to the next slide. We have to talk about some other girls. Let's talk about this girl, okay? Cinderella. Oh my God. Did anybody in here want to be Cinderella? I did. I mean, did y'all? You did? Oh my God. The shoes, the dress, the little wood animals could make stuff, like and turn her into, she had a fairy godmother. Yes? I loved her, and I thought, and she gets Prince Charming. I mean, how fabulous is that? So I thought, okay, so I can do that. She gets the shoes, she gets the dress, she gets the boy, she gets to live in a castle. I'm in. Yes, we're in, okay? But we're not there. When I looked at images for the two ugly stepsisters, I looked at them and I thought, this is so not modern. And the ones that were drawn by a famous cartoonist for the movie of this called Cinderella, these girls weren't ugly. But what I realized is that young girls are taught very soon, pretty is good, pretty gets you the boyfriend, gets you the shoes, gets you the dress. If you're ugly or considered ugly, you get the mean witch mother, and you will be an old maid, and the shoes will never fit. So that kind of stopped me when I started to think about it from that perspective. Do I still love Cinderella in the story? I do. There's some innocent piece of my heart that just wants to really hang on going, can't we all be Cinderella? Maybe. So let's talk about another girl that we love. Oh, we love Snow White. Now, Snow White was a different kind of princess, so she attracted little men with issues. Yes? They have issues, okay? Sneezy, Snoopy, Blumpy, whatever I can't remember all the names. She does that, but she likes them anyway. You know, she sings, someday my prince will come, someday I'll find my love. I mean, how fabulous is that, okay? But there's another girl lesson in here too. So the woman who said, you know what? She's really pretty, this little Snow White. I don't like it. Go to the next slide. There's the evil queen. She's so gorgeous, isn't she? She wants to be what? The fairest of them all, correct? So here's my thing. So this little girl's pretty, and then she's got this pretty mother who's gonna be evil about her being pretty. Get it? It's kind of a thing that we get taught too when you're this baby watching Snow White. But then the weird part for me is, for her to go and get Snow White, let's go to the next slide, she's gotta turn into, oh, what? Yeah, she's got to be ugly to get her? Okay, she can't do it in the dress and the crown. They turn her into that. So it's another lesson of mean, ugly, horrible. So imagine, I mean, I remember when I first watched Cinderella and I first watched Snow White, I just remember being it was a very aspirational thing around those women. And I don't know about you, but something hit me about the other little characters in the movie that were there for humor, but it has sort of a deeper, darker message as you get older. So it's just one thing to think about how we raise based on misrepresentation. What are we telling these girls that we're saying, you can do whatever you want, you're empowered, but hello, you better go get that glass slipper, girl, and bring him home, yes? So we all do this. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so in this, I started to think about lipstick. Because of the man at Sundance, it was like, how can you look like that with that lip gloss and say these things about being objectified the way you look? I thought, you know what? I want to think about the reasons women wear lipstick, okay? So let's go to reason number 1. Philip, let's go. Because we're told to. Okay, do y'all know this face? We all have this. Who is this? Who is this? You. You need to get in that room, you better do your homework, and if you're going out tonight, you better put some lipstick on. Who is that? Your mother. Grace. Hi, Grace. My mother's name is Grace, and Grace is in the audience. So one of the stronger female, or your grandmother, it could be any woman who plays a strong role in your life, maybe she told her, you need to put some lipstick on. My mother told me I needed to put on foundation. And so I put on foundation, and then she said, you're gonna have to balance your skin with lipstick, because now you look too white. Yes? Mothers, okay? Let's go to the next reason. Because other girls do. How many people have children in here, have daughters or whatever, okay? How many times do you hear this, you know? So this also gets into the whole thing around mean girls, you know? So there's a whole women on women thing that's really interesting. And I guess it's a rite of passage. I don't know, bullying's really interesting today. It's not good. But when I think about girls going to school, and especially if you're in the in crowd or you're not. Yes? Has anybody experienced that? I was bullied a lot during school, so that in crowd, and then women wanting to be more attractive but not knowing how to go about it. Because she's at an age, especially at this age, before, you know, you're at that transition of hormonal stuff that's starting to happen, and then, like, what is this? And she's growing, and how should I feel about myself? You know, how do we give girls self-esteem today versus what's actually happening in their lives? You know, whoever knew that lipstick would be this important? Isn't that funny? Just lipstick. Let's go to the next one, Philip. And this is one of my favorite, because sex, all right? Now, yes. Yes. Girls, he's cute, right? Now, he may not be your cup of tea, but, so you can just imagine who your cup of tea is, okay? And just put them in the slide. Because the other thing that happens to us as our hormones start to kick in, we start to want to be more attractive to whoever we want to be attractive to, yes? And so lipstick is an easy way to do that because we see other people doing it, and it's always kind of meant that, yes? The next reason, because, this is my favorite, applies to me, aging. Because aging. I always think that the universe has such a sense of humor around aging. Do you think aging is a bad thing? Okay, some go like this. Yes, Harvey, it's heinous, and I want it to stop immediately. And then other people are like, no. Okay, we have 2 men in the audience. How do men feel about aging?
I don't like it.
Okay, Scott doesn't like it. Rich? Okay, part alike. Okay, right? So, because some of us want to fight it every step of the way that we can, but there's also something around gender equality and aging. You know, so much in our culture around when is a woman, or even a man, when are we done being relevant? When are we done doing things? I was having a conversation with a girlfriend the other night that said, you know, in 10 years I'm going to be 55 years old, and if I don't do this, nobody's going to hire me. Isn't that crazy? But it does exist today. Like, what does that mean? So aging and makeup is really an interesting talk, but lipstick is one of those things that we can put a little shellac on. I love lip color, obviously. But it's a way to feel better about the way you look, you know? Let's go to the next one. Because we want to, and that's me, okay? I wear lipstick because I want to, okay? It makes me feel good. And all my girlfriends, like when y'all get together, like my friend Jen, she walked in, she's like, do you want to go to the girls' room with me? I totally would have, so we could have like put on lipstick together and I would have totally loved it, right? Like we've done like a million times, but Jen was like, oh, just come on in. So, but it's sort of like that whole thing about wanting to wear lipstick versus having to wear lipstick. And so for me, in these reasons, starting with a baby, she ends up having attitudes around what women do, how other women treat her, and also how she's going to be in the world. I don't have a judgment about it. It's just an observation that if it starts this little, I mean, things happen to little boys too, but that's a whole other thought around how men get to be like that as well in a different way. So I'd like to just take a minute and talk about feminism. Because for me, and I'm just going to say this as a blanket statement, what we look like is important today. It is. You know, I grew up in a time where people said, you know what? It's what's on the inside that really counts. You know what I mean? Like if something bad happened to you at school or somebody said you were ugly or blah, 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 and your mother's always like, it's what's on the inside that counts, you know? And so we bought it and then we ate our Oreos or Velveeta, some poison that we'd had in the 60s, and we'd go and watch a cartoon or something, you know what I mean? But today, image is important because of the media, selfies, everything, self-promotion. I mean, it's this incredible like time that's just burst into the world. And so what does it mean to be a feminist today? And I have a lot of questions in this area as well. So I decided to go back in history, just to the 70s. For some of you, you don't remember the 70s, but it was pretty fabulous. So this is an ad from Virginia Slims. And at the time, yes, they did have cigarette ads in magazines and on television. We don't do that anymore. But this ad campaign, you've come a long way, baby. And you'll see that this woman has on a double-breasted suit, definitely menswear, and they tried to femme it up a little bit with this pink coat. But in the 70s, it was that time where women were really in the movement. Gloria Steinem, there was a lot going on. There were comedies like the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She was one of the very first female producers in this sitcom that didn't have to be married. Do you know what I mean? Like she lived on her own. And in 1970, that was a big deal. And then her girlfriend, Rhoda Morgenstern, she lived on her own too. So these women were making it, you know, like what is the theme song? You'll Make It on Your Own? Mary did. So it was one of those times where women were seeing that they could be on their own, they could do things, and it could be friggin' incredible, yes? So some things got done with this, but then I think that some women felt a little bit like, but I'm a woman. Do I have to dress like a man to be considered equal? So that was kind of the thinking, at least in media and advertising. So as we fast forward today, it's not like that, okay? So let's go to the next slide. You can wear lipstick because you can. Now, it depends on the kind of woman you are. So if you, I love her, don't you? I wish I could do that. I can't, my jeans are too tight, or I'd show you, but I can't. So if you decide that lipstick is part of your gig as a person, great, wear it, celebrate it. But if you're a woman who lipstick's not part of your gig, it's okay. I mean, I'm a fashion stylist. I go in people's closets and I'm like, do you wear skirts? No, I don't want to. Guess what? I'm letting you out of the skirt prison. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you have to wear a friggin' skirt, right? Or a dress, or do we have to match the shoes to the whole thing? You hear your mother in your ears. You hear your grandmother. You hear all this stuff, which goes back to the baby. That's so important because all these things that we think are very light that we teach people and we do with them, it stays with them for a lifetime, yes? I mean, I can hear my mother, Grace, in here right now. I can't believe you're talking about all this on TV because my mother was a Southern Belle and she'd be mortified right now. Sorry, Grace, but whatever. So depending on the type of woman that you want to be, you can be that. So I hope in this little small talk we just had, it's a way for us to start to open awareness for women and supporting women. We'll deal with men another day because the one thing that I love about women, when women get together in groups and they say they're going to do something, it happens. Women make it happen, yes? And you know Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are two best comedians during the last election when they were talking about you-know-who. And Tina Fey said, yes, she's a bitch, but bitches get stuff done. Yes? So we love that. But at the same time, what I want to say is, as a woman, you deserve equal pay. You deserve equal everything. And we've got to find a way together to advocate. And I want to help you. You know, I'm always with women. I advocate for women every day of my life. I'm always with you. I'm always talking about the things you want or need and your aspirations. So I hope with this first talk that it opened it up. Did you enjoy it? It went by fast, didn't it? Thank you. Part 2 is going to be called Skin and Ageism, and I know you're all going to want to see that. So thank you very much, KMVT. I love you. Thank you for letting me do my series here. And girls and boys, I love you too. Thank you.